Hey, this is Pam Perry, Branding Superstar University. Straight up, 9 o'clock. Yep, and those that show up, go up. And I'm excited because tonight we've got a speaker, author, expert that's going to just rock your socks. But I'd like to say to Michael, he is the first guy that we've had on Branding Superstar University. How'd that happen? So I just love smart brothers. And actually, I learned about Michael D. Brown from another smart brother, Dante Lee. And both of them are just fabulous. And I told you about Dante Lee earlier in the year. His book, and Karen who's part of our group, she actually posted on Facebook that she got his book, Dante Lee's book, Black Business Secrets, 500 Tips, Strategies, and Resources for the African American Entrepreneur. Excellent book. Oh, my goodness. So technology is one of those things that you really don't want to lag behind in. I'm going to say that first out before I bring up Michael. If you want to brand like a superstar, technology is really a part of it. You can't ignore it. We're in the information age. It's almost like you've got to just be a part of it because you don't want to be caught wearing last year's style. So learn the new tools. Ask the questions. It's changing all of our lives, all of our careers. You want to make sure that you are relevant. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has this kind of tablets and that sort of thing. Use them to make your life easier, to make you brand better, to shine brighter, to go further. Sound like a Ford commercial, go further. But you want to make sure that you're doing that with technology. Something as simple that I love that Michael does, before I bring him up, his email signature really stamps that brand right when you email him and he emails you back. He's got the same color. It's written in that lime green, fresh passion. He has a cover of the book. He has a little bit of the beginning of his book description underneath it. And then, of course, obviously, he has myfreshbrand.com, which is actually his website. But it is the branding in something as simple. So people say, well, how do you do an email signature? Google it, okay? Or come on these calls and ask us. There's something called WiseStamp.com, wise, like a wise owl, stamp.com. You can use that. If you use Outlook, there's a way to do it in Outlook, and there's a way to do it in Gmail. But whatever it is, that's one of the simplest things you could do with your brand. If you're going to step up and step out in this second quarter of the year, you've got to make sure that your tools are in place. Keep it moving, and that's one of the main things. Okay. So I want to bring on Michael Brown so we can actually go over these the steps here, these 8 steps for these fresh brand. Michael D. Brown, is a sought-after speaker, management expert, and author. He has developed a customer service process, 6.5 fresh steps to world-class customer service, that during the past 15 years has been credited with re-engineering and enhancing the customer service strategy and experience for a number of small, mid-sized, and Fortune 500 companies, including Marriott, Macaroni Grill, U.S. Army, Wendy's, Omni Hotels, Houston Rockets, Capital One, Wells Fargo, Greater Houston Partnership, Jason's Deli, Amico Oil, Arco Oil, Murphy Oil. You could tell he's from Texas, huh? The Walmart Project, British Petroleum, and a number of colleges and universities. Michael was ranked also in the top 5% among the high-performing leaders and coaches in leading global Fortune 500 companies. So he is one of those dudes where it's just like, woo, you got to really, really pay attention to what he's saying. But he is also globally recognized authority on customer service leadership for developing this strategy that delivers to the front lines at 3 levels up in the user's organization. The work was later turned into a best-selling book, Fresh Customer Service. You see how he's keeping this brand going with the fresh. Treat the employee as number 1 and the customer as number 2, and you will get customers for life. He's been featured in such media outlets as Christian Science Monitor, NPR, Black Enterprise, Business Week, and also in Forbes. So with that, I'd like to bring up Michael D. Brown. How are you, sir?
Great, Pam. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you wonderfully.
Thank you. I'm so used to having a number of people telling me what to do, including how to dial the phone. So they trusted me to do it on my own. So I properly. Thank you so much.
You did a wonderful job. If you could do all that, you could definitely dial in.
I am just excited to be here. I work across the globe with a lot of our Fortune 100 companies and do all that stuff. But for some reason, I'm just so excited, and I tried to figure it out as I was rushing back to the office. And it's because I'm a bit, Pam, a bit just kind of frustrated at people are just continuously struggling in their personal lives and their professional lives and their economic lives. And out of all the research I've done and all the companies I've worked for, the common piece is that generic people will always struggle. So tonight I want you to just buckle up, go on this journey with me for a little bit of time. We're going to go a little bit fast, and if you have some questions, you can email us, go to the site. But I want to give you the crust of what we normally give folks in a couple days. I'll try to condense it down and be respectful of your time. But just get ready. Take out your iPad, your Z-Pad, your paper, your napkin, or wherever you might be. Take a lot of notes and just kind of hang in there with me. Before we get started, I want you just to close your eyes for a bit of second there, maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and just ask yourself the question, why would anyone in their right mind invest in your skills, products, or services? Why would anyone in their right mind invest in your skills, products, or services? Why you? What's so special, so unique, so fantastic about you and what you're able to deliver? I'll tell you, my friends, the world has changed and continues to change right before our eyes. Companies, organizations, customers, and people in general are just no longer willing to invest anything of significance in generic individuals, as the return on investment is either unknown or anemic. And just ponder to yourself, would you invest in someone whose ROI is unknown or anemic? You must become a fresh, distinct, and competitive brand, or you will simply find yourself as an extinct generic. I appreciate the license to be transparent and honest with you this evening. You must become a fresh, distinct, and competitive brand, or you will find yourself as an extinct generic. And that's what's happening with us in this country today. If you'll just think about this for a moment, 50% of Americans make about $26,000. That's everybody in the workforce. Companies, organizations, and customers are dying for the right brand that can provide the right solution. This is fertile ground for those of you who are working for companies, those of you who want to start companies, you have companies. This is fertile ground if you have the right brand. This is your defining moment. We've never been in this difficult of time. People are looking for ways, products, solutions, and individuals who can help them through this economic tsunami. So I'm going to challenge you today to really take the deciding factor, to maximize the moment, to take your personal brand to the marketplace in a fresh and competitive way. All of us, me included, we've been weathering an economic tsunami for the past several years, and it appears that the worst part is over. You look at the numbers, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. We think the unemployment rate is about 8% and 19% for underemployed, which is the more critical piece, because people are not really getting the success that they really wanted out of life. The solution here, only those, and hear me good, please, only those individuals who truly stand out in this competitive job market and offer a unique value proposition will attract the interest of employers. Employers no longer are willing to take a chance on the unknown. They don't have any training. They want you to come to work on Monday, do your new hire paperwork, and on Friday they want to know, what did you do to grow my top and bottom line? For those entrepreneurs, the folks that I love, customers are not parting with their dead men, their dollars, unless they know that you have a product or service that will give them new life, proven solutions, and something that's going to make their life the better. Consumer confidence is on a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. Customers are squeezing those dollars so tight you think Washington's head is going to explode at any moment. They have to know that you have a product, a service, or a solution, and only you can do it, that will make their lives better in a microwave nanosecond. So folks oftentimes say, Pam, Michael, what's the big deal? What's wrong with being a generic? There's nothing wrong with it. You just have to level set your expectations. You've seen generic brands, the no-name products that are pretty low on the supermarket shelves. Guess what? People can be generic too. And when you say, what is a generic person, Michael? Simply put, A generic person, I'm not saying they're bad people. No, we've all been generics at some point in our lives. They're perfectly nice, intelligent, talent, but they haven't really done anything to stand out from the crowd. They've probably kind of gone through life just doing the average, getting the average out of life, having an average work history or average personal background. They don't stand out as being especially bad, but guess what, my friend? They don't really stand out as being especially good either. And why would you risk your hard-earned money and, more importantly, time on something that is not going to give you a proven solution or will give you an anemic solution or, if anything, at all? So think to yourself, in this economic tsunami where I need to be on my best, I need to provide my customers the best, I need to provide my potential employer the best, would I rather be a brand or would I rather be a generic? I would challenge you to take the branded lane. People will pay more for a brand that has a track record and who can communicate that track record of proven solutions. So what is the proven solution? To really become a distinct and competitive brand, or you become an extinct generic. So how do I do that, Michael? I'll give you the very simple steps, and please write this on your napkin or on the palm of your hand, your elbow, or wherever you can get it. Think about this. Who is my target audience? Who that? For those Saints fans. Who is my target audience? Is it Apple? Is it Home Depot? Is it customers between 18 to 24-year-old? Is it working moms? Is it moms-to-be? Who is my target audience? Who am I going after? Now when I cement that in my head, I need to go quickly, Pam, to say, what are their needs, their wants, their desires? What is their pain point? And the smart person will say, what are their known pain points and what are their unknown pain points? Because some people don't even know they're in pain. Is it someone who can sell? If it's an organization you're going to work for, someone who can increase the bottom line by selling better than anyone else? For those entrepreneurs, is it someone who wants organic meals delivered every week and because they're working professionals? Now I know my audience. I know what they need, they want, they desire. I know their pain points, the pains that they express, and the ones that are unexpressed. This is where I'm going to really make money because they don't know they're in pain. Now, how can my brand provide a competitive solution better than anyone else? A solution that is fresh, that is relevant, that is proven. Who's my target audience? What do they need, want, and desire? What are the pain points? And how can my brand deliver better than anyone else? If you cement those three things in your head, you will have the framework that companies have used all over the world. Individuals who are successful have used the same formula. So I understand that, Michael. Now let's go on, Michael. How do I develop this fresh and winning brand? You develop a compelling personal brand that makes you stand out in the crowd. But what do I need to do, Michael? How do I do this? How do you become a customer? How do you become a brand that the customers would knock the door down for? You can't afford to advertise every time, every day. You need to have people to be brand ambassadors for you. So how do you become a brand that customers will knock the door down? Well, they see you first. This is where the personal part comes in. For those of you who are entrepreneurs, before you sell the best fried chicken on the south side of Chicago, they will look at you first and say, does that look like somebody who can run a business? Does that look like somebody who's going to give me consistent service? Does that look like somebody who's going to give me a product that I can brag about? For those of you who are in the job market, do you look like someone who can get results? Do you look like somebody who can take my business to the next level? What's so different about you that makes you stand out? Long before they look at your resume, long before they even get to understand you, they need to say, do you look like what you're promising? So fortunately, I've developed a process that you can have tonight. It's called Fresh Passion. Get a brand or die generic, and I'll go through it very quickly because we don't have a lot of time. It's really looking at fresh means doing something every day to enhance your brand. Pam talked about that today around something as simple as an email signature. Fresh means doing something every day to enhance your brand, to keep your skills sharp, and to package yourself for success. That's why they bake bread every day. People don't want to buy the same loaf of bread day in and day out. That's a markdown loaf of bread. Are you a fresh loaf of bread, or are you on the markdown clearance rack? The freshest candidate in the job market wins. The freshest person who's providing a product or a service as an entrepreneur wins. If you already come through the door as someone who's looking for employment with the latest practices that Pam talked about, the latest strategies, you understand the trends that's happening in that company better than anyone else. Technology has allowed us to know every pain that a company is going through, especially if they're publicly traded. You need to walk through the door with a 3-page PowerPoint to say, I understand from your last annual report, these are the 3 things that you're dealing with. Here's how I've solved those, and here's how I would propose solving those. Who would not invest in someone who shows up with that kind of fresh, out-of-the-box thinking? For entrepreneurs, we're dealing with the most educated, informed, discerning customers of our lifetime. They want to conduct business with someone with fresh solutions. They must see that freshness in your brand long before they decide to do business with you. You simply can no longer, hear me good, you can simply no longer have payphone skills for a smartphone world. No one will dial your number. No one will dial your number. So that's the whole piece about being fresh and relevant. We move into the acronym around passion. Passion, my friend, is the crust of what's really derailing us. We're faking our passion. We have manufactured passion. If you'll be honest with yourself and say, if I can take my best friend out of my head, my mom, my dad, my people who influenced me, if I were not living the passion that they wanted me to live, what would be my true passion? And passion is that inner drive to do your very best, not simply because you hope it will make you rich or famous or attractive, but because it will allow you, my friend, to maximize your potential as a human being. Stop manufacturing your passion. Take the moment after you hang up tonight to be authentic with yourself and resist the temptation to live out someone else's passion. That's why our professional, personal, and economic lives are not maximized. We're disconnected from our passion. When you disconnect it from your passion, you're not fully engaged. You cannot maximize your success unless you are fully engaged. So dig deep. Understand what is my passion, Michael. Connect that passion to your brand. You will never work another day in your life because you're doing what you're passionate about. You will pour your heart and soul into it. Almost 60% of the people go to a job that they hate every single day. 40% of business owners put the key in a business that they hate doing. What am I passionate about? And how can I turn that passion into a brand that will allow me to have whatever personal, professional, and economic success that I deserve? Because you deserve to have the best, to eat the best, to drink the best, to drive the best. Why not get it now? What are you waiting for? There's so much pain in the world today, and you're sitting on a solution. Don't take that solution with you. Figure that out, connect it to your passion, and begin to monetize it. So let's go quickly around what passion means. The P in passion is about preparing yourself. Preparing yourself means, this continuing education through classes, professional development. So much of what you're doing today is about really preparing yourself and going to the next level. You want to understand how to build a brand. You'll find in the resources with Pam, and you're looking at what Pam is bringing to the table to say, how do I take my skills to the next level? Be it informal networks or just maintaining an intellectual interest in knowledge capital. For those of you who are in business today, you need to understand, in my industry, if I'm in telecom, what's going on? What are the hot button issues? If I'm in the restaurant business, what are the new laws if I'm in New York? In New York, you won't be able to drink an ounce of water next if you hang around much longer. So what am I doing to take my business to the next level? Do I understand what's going on politically? What will affect my business? Do I understand what's happening around the corner? So understanding and being astute about what's going on, preparing your intellectual capital. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs, customers have limited time, patience, or resources to have you practice on them. Stop showing up ill-prepared to execute your business. Wait until you get it right. The reason that 80% of the small businesses fail in America because they're not prepared with the right skills to be able to run a business. They don't know economics, they don't know finance, they don't know cash flow, they don't know customer service. And they show up because they got a pound cake recipe from their aunt and believe that they should be able to open up a dessert stand. Wait until you get the right skills, because what you will do when you are not prepared, you will do irreversible damage to your brand. And with the age of the internet and technology, that damage stays there for a lifetime. So when someone goes to Google you, they find out, oh, your business just went out of business because you got a 63 on your health care report. Will they really trust you now that you're serving sushi? Mm-hmm. So preparation is about mentally. Do you believe that you are? Do you believe your brand is worth investing in? Do you believe you deserve to have the best, to eat the best, to drive the best, to deliver the best, and have the best life? Do you believe you are truly a brand or a generic? Your mind, my friend, is this powerful tool. It will manifest out exactly what you feed into it and what you truly believe. You can fake it all you want to and say, I'm the best at this. I'm the best employee for this. I'm the best entrepreneur. But you know deep down inside, I'm not prepared to do that. Well, at some point, that inauthentic you will come to fruition. Get your mind conditioned for the success that you want. That's the first step in preparation. It's about not missing anything. MISS. Preparing yourself is not missing anything. Mentally, am I there? Do I have the right image? Be it online, be it offline. That image has to come together. That's the beauty of what I think Pam has brought to this business, is giving you a holistic branding approach. Branding is not just about a business card that you get from Vistaprint. And by the way, that logo does not does not translate to one that you need to put online. And oh, by the way, you've changed your colors 4 times. And oh, by the way, last week you was an expert at basket weaving, and now tomorrow you're saving the planted. What image do you have, and does it all come together in one cohesive brand? Wait, take the time, prepare yourself mentally, get the image right before you even begin to launch it. You cannot unring the bell. Once the bell has rung, it has rung forever. What skills do I have? The right skills? When you looked at that customer that we talked about, what are their pain points? What are their needs, their wants and desires? You will take an inventory of yourself and say, the customer that I'm going after needs this. Here are my skill sets. Here are the gaps. I'm going to go to Pam and other folks to help close the skills gap. Is it a customer service issue? Is it an accountant issue? I need to close the skill gap as part of my preparation. And when you look at having the right mentality, the right image, and the right skills, the other S in not missing anything is now you have a brand of substance. A well-prepared you will stand out. You will be surprised at the number of people who are ill-prepared. So that's the whole piece around preparation. I'll give you just a high level. Read the book if you need any more. Send us an email. Happy to help you. The A in passion is around, what is your aspiration? Mm-hmm. Where am I trying to go? What do I want to do? For those of you who are in the job market, where do you really want to work? Because a desperate you is showing up too many times at the interview. And it's becoming very apparent that this is not really what you want to do. You're desperate now. You need to find a job. And you find yourselves there in 90 days, and you continue to go through that cycle. Take some time back. Position your brochure, which is your resume, around connecting to your passion, connecting to your brand, and present that to the labor market so people will know clearly this is what you're bringing and these are the problems that you can solve. Those of you who are entrepreneurs, what kind of business are you really trying to provide? Not everybody can be in marketing. Not everybody can be graphic designers. But only a few can be the chosen ones who say, I am a marketing provider who holistically look at your whole experience from top to bottom and provide that for my clients. I'm opening a restaurant that will give customers a choice. And what is that? What am I aspiring to be as this brand? What customer experience am I looking to provide? The S in passion is about staying laser focused. You've got to resist the temptation to get sidetracked. So many of us are ready for the next hustle, the next pyramid scheme, the next life-saving insurance or whatever. We cannot stay focused because we don't know our aspiration. You see where we're going here? We don't know what we're aspiring to be. We don't know what brand we're trying to build. We will go to every networking event on Friday. Well, the people in the networking event can't help you. If everybody in the circle is broken, who's going to ever bring it together? But when you know your aspiration, it's like, no, I'm not going to the basket weaving networking event. That's not the brand I'm trying to build. When you know your aspiration and you begin to stay focused, you can get the right people around you, you can get the right skills, but you have to stay focused on this journey. Resist the temptation to get sidetracked. For entrepreneurs, stay true to the promise that you've made to your customers. If you have a consultant focusing on leadership, resist the temptation to talk about IT. That's not who you are. And customers will begin to see that you're not authentic and begin to do, again, more damage to your brand. That's why you're always in brand repair mode, because of what you've done to other customers, and people are now confused as to what you do. The S in passion, will speed it up a little bit, is about how do you sell this brand, Michael? How do I sell this? When I go on a job interview, I already know the pain of the organization. I'm providing them with clear solutions on what I can do to take them to the next level and to really solve their problem. As entrepreneurs, what experience am I trying to sell? You think about it. If a guy has a toothache today and he shows up looking for a solution, he doesn't have time to figure out if you're the provider. You need to tell him very quickly, I'm the right product at the right price. And if you're a good brand, you don't even talk about price because they see enough value in you. Where do I place this brand, and how do I promote it? So I understand this brand, and you need to be able to say in 30 seconds and wake up in the middle of the night and say, this is what I provide. Here are the solutions that I provide, and if you adopt these solutions, this is how your life will be made the better. This is how I will help your bottom line. Mr. Customer, this is the solution that I will give you that will do X, Y to you. What is my 30-second pitch on why would anyone in their right mind want to invest in my products, my services, or my solutions? Because when I'm promoting that, I need to understand that. When I try to get a brand ambassador and in my networking, we have to be able to tell that story in 30 seconds so the person that we want to be our brand ambassadors can retell the story in the networking circle. So you know you're the product. You know it's a good product. You've gotten the right preparation. You're aspiring to be the right thing. You know you have this branded product. But a closed mouth will starve you to death. You have to understand, here's my 30-second pitch. Here are the solutions that I provide to the pain. And you exacerbate those pains, and you tell people what they're going through. And you remember we talked about remind them of the unknown pain. Just think about this for a very simple solution. If this guy has a toothache, and you talk to him about, I have the solution now temporarily, but a toothache has a long-term solution as well. Is it that you need to have it extracted? Am I the best dentist to do that? Is it about oral health care so it prevents the other 31 from not coming out? So not only do I have a short-term solution, I have a long-term solution, and that gives your brand longevity. The I in passion is about invigorating yourself. This is a piece that we don't really talk a lot about. It's really about you and what people see in you. Misery has enough company. They don't need you on the bandwagon. You need to find the power within yourself to stop outsourcing your happiness to other folks. Because when you outsource that valuable real estate space in your head around happiness, they can foreclose on you. They can short sell on you. They can take your life from you because you're outsourcing your happiness to someone else. If you're not happy with who you have become, then it's time to take a step back to say, well, what would make me happy? What brand would make me happy? But quit outsourcing your happiness to other folks because, my friend, not everybody in your circle around you are there to help you. There are many people there to plot your demise or to keep you at a generic level like they are. So, of course, they're not going to give you good solutions. So find the strength to say, how am I going to stay excited during this very challenging time? If you're in a job market, I know it's challenging. For those of you who are building businesses, you've gone through the ebbs and flows. You know it's hard. Cash flow is tight. One day it's up, one day it's down. You need to present an excited you to let customers know that my food is not as desperate as I look. The O in passion is about omitting the negative. This is, again, about cleaning out the folks who are around you. That negativity, if you're going in for an interview or you're looking for a promotion, if you're underemployed, if your brand has this negative image, no line manager or supervisor wants to bring you on board. Why would you purposely bring somebody who has a negative brand on board with you? Why, as a customer, would I elect to do business with someone who's negative? So find the time to say, and the negative experiences will come. We're not immune from them. And you'll encounter rude and hostile customers and folks on the job. You've got to say, let me learn from this experience. What did I learn from it? How can I put things in place to prevent it from happening again? But I have got to go on to build this world-class brand that folks will knock the door down to get to. And getting the right folks in your circle will be those brand ambassadors who will keep you on the journey. The N and passion is about nailing the brand. How do you bring all this together and package it? We talked about really what do you look like online, what do you look like on offline. And if you think about it in simple terms, people buy Godiva not because you never hear people talk a whole lot about how good Godiva chocolate candy is. It's really the packaging. So they know that the packaging will invoke a decision-making to pay $80, $90 for it, and the person that you're going to give it to will get that same experience. And then it's not until they open it up that they say, okay, this is good chocolate. So when you're developing that brand, what do you look like externally? What do you look like internally? Because once you get them to trust to buy you from the outside appearance and what they see online and what they see in your presentation, you have to be authentic inside to deliver on that promise. But remember, the packaging has to be right first before they will even make the initial purchasing decision. That's why the Fresh Passion methodology helps us really examine ourselves inside and out in order to prepare a brand that connects to our passion and one that is fresh and competitive. So I know we've gone over a lot here, but all I want to challenge you today is just to simply inject some fresh passion in your life and your career, and those of you who are entrepreneurs. It's never too soon to prevent a generic death, and it's never too late to create a winning brand that guarantees long-term success. We're in a lot of pain today. It is your brand that can be the solution provider that you can monetize, that will give you all the success that you could ever want in your personal, professional, and economic life. Thank you for going on that journey and hanging in there with us. And I know it's a lot of material, but I hopefully you got it in a nutshell. And go to myfreshbrand.com. I think Pam sent that out, and you can sign up for 52 tips. And because I like Pam, because she's great, is for those of you who buy the book tonight, our back office person has put a code in there for Pam that you'll get 25% off if you enter the word passion at checkout, and then there's another code for zero shipping. So you enter passion and then hit apply and hit zero shipping, so you get 25% off the book and free shipping, because I believe in really invest in good brands, invest in other good brands early on, because we know the harvest that they're going to produce. So thank you so much for hanging in on that ride. My time is up on the 30-minute side, and I want to give us some time to have a bit of a dialogue here, Pam.
Yes. Oh, my God, Michael, that was excellent. Thank you so much. Again, the name of the book is Fresh Passion. You can hear his passion, right? Get a brand or die a generic. You can get it from myfreshbrand.com. Again, he said put in the code PAM.
Passion.
Put in the code PASSION, and you will get 25% off of the book.
And zero shipping for the free shipping.
Zero shipping. So that is excellent. And again, he went over the 8 points, the skills and attitudes really critical for creating your own personal brand. Now, at this time, we're going to take Q&A, but we did have some people that actually submitted some. So I'm going to take Charlotte's question first, because it's kind of like maybe will help a lot of people. It says, I'm here to learn how I can clarify my brand and relaunch within 90 days. So that was her question. Automatically, she just wants to know how she can clarify her brand and relaunch within 90 days.
Sure. Great question there. I would say to take some time tonight to really to figure out what you're passionate about. Where is my passion? And then go into the formula that we talked about. Who is my target audience? Is that a target audience that I can deliver to? What do they need, want, and desire? And what can I deliver in a competitive way that no one else can do? And stand true to my passion and my authenticity. How can I deliver to that audience? But before you, even if it takes you 95 days, do not do a premature launch until you can identify those and test those with folks around you, because you don't want to do damage to the brand.
Mm-hmm. And, Charlotte, one of the ways, too, online is the best way if you're looking at just a short amount of time. I mean, you can blog like you're about to lose your mind. You know, don't launch a blog unless you have at least 12 posts, I would say. Blog, do video. Video will really skyrocket you. Now, not just any video. It has to be a good video, because we're talking about your brand. And do those two in combination. Write press releases. Okay, if you're not really familiar with how to do that, on my blog, PamPerryPR.com, you can figure out how to write press releases and search engine optimized press releases using like PR Web, PR Log, BlackNews.com. There's just tons of those. The other thing you could do is really then begin to do like your own podcast or your own radio show to get your voice heard. You have a topic you're passionate about, you know what you know, and you just want people to understand that you're the go-to expert, right? So you host your own show, whether you do it on TalkShoe, you do it on Blog Talk, or whether you even go to a radio station and say, hey, I want to do a show every Saturday, that sort of thing, you know. But you are really the content, and so you have to share that content as much as you can by blogging, writing. You know, if you can, actually try to write a column in your trade journal or your trade magazine, or syndicate some articles. I mean, there's so many different ways. I talk about it a lot in a lot of the CDs and things, but the main hub of it is really getting that blog going and then start adding some other multimedia to it that's really, really good, okay? So hopefully that helps. Afi had a question, Michael. She asked, what are the top 3 no-nos, a.k.a. huge mistakes, we should absolutely avoid when building our personal brand?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. Not being authentic. Get in your lane. Get in your lane. Don't fake it. Do something that you're passionate about, because it will come through. Just as Pam talked about blogging and YouTube, if you don't have the depth of the content and you're all over the place and then you run out of content because it's not something that you're really passionate about, you won't get the followers. And then not providing a clear solution. People want to know today, what can I expect to get from you? And that needs to be very clear. These are the problem that I'm solving, and here's a process that I will use to solve the problem. So I need to be authentic with myself. I need to do something that I'm very passionate about, and I need to develop a clear solution that is fresh and that is competitive and that's going to help people do X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm. That is good. And one of the things, too, I would say, if you are not comfortable at doing anything with the technology, if you are at stage fright of, like, you know, a lot of people say, well, you should speak, but if you really are just not a speaker and it's just really hard for you, and it's going to be really hard for people to really take you seriously. So one, either you put that on hold and you go practice. You either go to Toastmasters or either just hang out at some NSA meetings, you know, National Speakers Association meetings, hang out with other speakers, read about speaking, until you get to the point where you're comfortable with that. The other thing with video, you can also get some media training and be better at how to do video. There's just a lot of things. So if you're not really good at that or comfortable with that, that's going to show. And it's going to be painful for people to watch or listen to. So you want to do things that are, if you're comfortable with writing, then write. Then, hey, Max Lucado is not really a really great speaker, but he can write and has New York Times bestseller books. So that's what he does. He stays in his lane. Michael, that was good. Okay, Monica.
I have just one more thing to hear.
Okay.
I'm, as most of you know, I'm a speaker, and I usually get a lot of folks who've gone to a number of boot camps and places that will tell you that you can make 6 figures in this industry, and they will go and they will spend thousands of dollars on people to help them. The fundamental piece, you don't need to spend a dime until you understand what your brand is and what your core passion is. Nobody can really help do that. So people are going out spending thousands of dollars because they believe that, I'm told if I just go here, if I go to this boot camp, I'll be the best speaker in the world and I can make 6 figures. Well, if it was that easy, why would everybody would just leave their jobs to do it? Nobody can help you figure that out. You need to take some time with yourself and take some time with someone who's focused on building a brand from the inside of you first.
That is good. That is so good, because I've seen those. I think I just got one in the mail the other day. It's like, hey, come to this boot camp and you'll make 6 figures by speaking. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So I guess everybody got this piece of mail would be making 6 figures then if they go to this event. Okay. Monica McGee, she asks, what do you do? So it's kind of a long question, Michael. It says, what do you do when you already have a whole lot of material out there, potentially to build your brand around, but you are struggling to essentially reel it in to become a more brand-focused and centered with your message? That's 8.
Fantastic. Good question. Drop the things that you're not passionate about first. That's 70%. So let's deal with the 30%.
Wow.
So the 30% is around going deep versus fishing on the peripheral of the ocean. Because if you never really put your feet in, you're never going to catch anything but minnows, because big fish don't come up to the surface. They're out in the core, in the center. So when you get that 30% that you're really passionate about, say, now how do I drill down and get a level of expertise in this 30% that nobody else can do? But all this other stuff is, I think I'm passionate about it, but that's not really where my heart is.
That is good. And the B to her question is, what if you are just not sure of the message or brand you want to put out there, but you know you desire to? And then she asks, what questions do you ask yourself to get started on determining your focus? And I thought that was a good question. What question do you ask yourself to get started in determining your focus? This was a book, I mentioned this before you answered that, Michael, I'm a book person. So it was called List Yourself. And the book was called List Yourself. And it's a book maybe about 150 pages, but it's to getting you to get to know you. It's a self-discovery book, and by the time you're finished with that book, you will actually know what it is you're passionate about. You'll see a reoccurring pattern that you probably can't get away from, and you probably, maybe even before you finish the book, you say, oh, okay, I got it. But it's called List Yourself. But you don't have to get a book. You can actually just do your own list. I think I talked about that a few weeks ago. Just do your own list. Making the grids, what is it you're passionate about? And then, like Michael said, crossing off what are things that are lukewarm, just only keeping the things that are hot, things that you would do if no one paid you any money to do, or, you would just do it anyway. Okay, those are the things